This week's election certainly put the spotlight on our collective despair, frustration, and anger. Those are all emotions at the heart of racism and police brutality. Now, to help bring solidarity with Black Lives Matter, tonight at Roulette Theater, just a few blocks away from here, the musical group Ensemble Pi will perform its 13th annual Peace Project concert.
Well, the concert will feature a collection of works by socially conscious composers. And to tell us all about the event, we're joined by three of those composers. Alvin Singleton, welcome to BK Live.
Thank you.
Trevor Weston, so glad you could join us today, sir.
Thank you.
And Sidney Boquiren, thank you for joining us here on the show.
Thanks so much.
All right, so gentlemen, maybe I'm not aware, but could you tell me about the historical context of classical music and politics?
I don't know if I could tell you the historical context of classical music and politics. I can tell you how I feel and how I grew up and how I got into classical music. In fact, I grew up in Bed-Stuy, and I never saw the difference between the two as far as listening to music, because I listened to both. And I'm surprised winding up being in the classical music world. And the piece that they're performing of mine is a piece called Jasper Drag, which comes from an incident that happened June 7th, 1998, in Jasper, Texas, where a black man was chained to the back of a pickup truck and drugged to death. And the piece is just a marker on our history. Yeah. Reminder, because people forget. We have such short memories in this country.
So when we hear like music used as a form of protest or to shine a light, particularly in this context, looking at police brutality, we think of NWA or rap or hip hop and its reactions, but classical music has a lane for this as well?
Well, I have two pieces, and they deal with these issues in different ways. I arranged the spiritual There Is a Bomb, and I think after what we're going through, I think we might need the solace of that spiritual There Is a Bomb. And if you remember, historically, spirituals were created as protest pieces, and also it helped people who were oppressed, people who were in horrible situations, deal with that situation. So classical music has used spirituals for a long time. But I also wrote a piece called Shapeshifter for solo cello, and its subtitle is The Angry Bluesman, because I had this idea of someone from the late 19th century, an African-American bluesman coming back to life and hearing blues everywhere and getting upset because even though he is connected to all of this music, his role in it is non-existent. So, you know, we all obviously live in this country and we all experience what others who live in this country experience. So our medium is classical music. So in expressing how I respond to, you know, what I experience kind of being left out or sometimes ignored for my contributions, I think the piece Shapeshifter does the same thing. There's a little bit of hip hop too, because I grew up in the 80s, right? Okay. That's part of what I experienced. So I think for all of us, I think our music reflects what we've experienced and how we have lived through our experiences and how that reflects our culture.
So before we bring Sidney into the conversation, I'm going to take us to the Wayback Machine to just a year ago when the 12th annual concert took place. So we've got a clip of that for you right now.
Okay. So, Sidney, I want to bring you into the conversation. Recently, Donald Trump on the campaign trail said that he'd be an advocate for bringing stop and frisk back. Can you tell us a little bit about stop and frisk and how it sort of played part in this larger opera?
Sure. So stop and frisk is the last scene of a one-act chamber opera for tenor and baritone. I collaborated with Daniel Neer, the librettist. And we've been working on this project for a while now. And I'm very thankful that he brought this to my attention. I mean, he brought me into this project because I feel like now I can be part of the conversation through our work and the way we practice and what we do as composers.
So what can we expect from the concert this evening, gentlemen?
Well, I think that there are many different ways to voice one's opinion or to meet with people who might have similar ideas. Mm-hmm. And since this concert was conceived with the idea of Black Lives Matter and all of the issues surrounding that, if nothing else, you'll be in a space with people who have similar ideas, mm-hmm. and those ideas are being expressed in ways that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
And I think in experiencing, music that you've never heard before, maybe with people you haven't met before, it might shine a light and maybe give more perspective, and also there's strength in numbers. I think that's the biggest issue. And as a community, it's always great to come together, and music has always been a great way for people to come together.
How did the Black Lives Matter collaboration, the overlap is obvious after listening to you guys, but how did you bring them into the tent?
Well, actually, it brought me into I had no idea who Ensemble Pi was. And I learned it on an email that they wanted to perform a piece of mine. And then I did a little research, and I realized that, hey, this is very important, because I actually live in Atlanta. So I said that I got to
Bed-Stuy boy, back home now.
Yeah,
Been brought
yeah.
back.
And Bed-Stuy boy, really, I mean, it's really changed.
Yeah.
My parents would never believe that they couldn't live there, couldn't afford to live there, so.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm just happy to be a part of this, and I think the experience of, at least in my lifetime, the experience of audiences seeing that a black person writes this kind of music is a surprise, not only surprising to them, but they're really proud.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to continue to do that.
Well, we're proud that Ensemble Pi is doing the work they're doing.
Well, and how can people reach out to Ensemble Pi to keep up with you guys?
They, of course, have a website and
Facebook, they have a Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, normal social media, and just, Google Ensemble Pi. But come to the concert.
Yes.
Come tonight.
Come to the concert.
And that is happening tonight at the Roulette Theater, just steps away from here. It's hard to avoid the place. It's right on the corner of Atlantic and State.
No, Atlantic.
I think
Fourth.
Atlantic.
Don't let me send you off. All right, but go to the website,
7:30.
pick up a
7:30
ticket.
p.m.
7:30 p.m. Yeah.
There you have it, 7:30 p.m. at Roulette Theater. We know what to do tonight.
Composers.